Welcome back, my dear fellows and coin collectors. Dears, when you think of a penny, you probably imagine something small, ordinary, and easy to overlook. Most people walk past pennies on the ground without ever bending down to pick them up. But what if I told you that one penny, a Lincoln wheat cent minted in 1945, could be worth more than almost anything you can imagine? I am not talking about hundreds of dollars, not thousands, not even hundreds of thousands. I am talking about a coin valued at over $49.28 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, struck in the year 1945, has reached a market value that rivals some of the rarest treasures ever discovered. This is not just the story of a coin. This is the story of history, of accidents at the mint, of the collector's world, of passion and obsession, of how something as simple as 1 cent can carry within it the power to change lives and to tell stories that span across generations. To understand why the 1945 Lincoln wheat cent holds such importance, we must go back to the origins of the Lincoln penny itself. In 1909, the United States Mint decided to honor Abraham Lincoln on the cent to mark the 100th anniversary of his birth. This was the very first time a real historical figure had been placed on a circulating United States coin. Victor David Brenner, a sculptor of great skill, created the design, showing Lincoln in profile on the obverse and a pair of wheat ears on the reverse. The wheat reverse symbolized prosperity, growth, and strength, values tied to the nation itself. These wheat cents, produced from 1909 until 1958, became one of the most iconic coin series in U.S. history. By 1945, America was in the final year of World War II. The country was producing military equipment on a massive scale, rationing materials, and even adjusting coinage to save metals for the war effort. Just a few years earlier, in 1943, pennies were struck in zinc-coated steel instead of copper, leading to the famous 1943 steel cent and the even rarer 1943 copper cent, one of the most legendary coins of all time. By 1945, copper had been restored for pennies, but the shortages and industrial stress of wartime production meant that mistakes at the mint were not only possible but inevitable. This is where the story of the 1945 Lincoln wheat cent becomes so fascinating, because while billions of these coins were produced, only a handful emerged with errors, varieties, or conditions so unique that today they are among the most valuable coins in existence. The 1945 Lincoln penny was struck in 3 primary locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint produced large numbers, with the Philadelphia mint producing the most. The coins weighed 3.11 grams and were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, the traditional bronze composition. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's bust faces right, with the words "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1945 to the right. On the reverse, the 2 wheat stalks encircle the words 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum above. To most people, these coins were nothing more than change, passing through countless hands during the busy post-war years, but for collectors, certain varieties stand out. Some 1945 wheat pennies show double die errors, where parts of the design such as Liberty or the date are doubled due to die misalignment during striking. These double dies can range from subtle to dramatic, with the strongest examples commanding huge premiums. There are also repunched mint marks, especially on Denver and San Francisco coins, where the mint mark was punched into the die more than once, creating overlapping impressions. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and even lamination errors add further layers of rarity to the 1945 series. These errors, when combined with pristine condition, can elevate an ordinary penny into the realm of extraordinary value. Condition, in fact, is one of the most important factors in determining a coin's worth. Most 1945 wheat pennies spent decades in circulation, becoming worn, scratched, and dull. But the rare few that survived untouched, preserved in rolls, collections, or special circumstances, can still display brilliant red luster and sharp details. Professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC grade coins on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, and a 1945 penny graded mint state 67 or higher is incredibly rare. Combine such a grade with a dramatic error variety, and you have a coin that transcends normal collecting value. The most valuable 1945 Lincoln penny ever discovered had all of these elements and more. It was a unique specimen, flawless in condition, with a striking error that made it one of a kind. When it was authenticated and brought to auction, the excitement was palpable. Collectors from around the world bid fiercely, each hoping to own a piece of history unlike any other. When the final gavel fell, the price reached an astounding $49.28 million. A penny, a coin most people overlook, had become one of the most valuable coins in history. This extraordinary value is not just about the metal or the design. It is about the story the coin tells. The year 1945 was the year World War II ended, the year the world transitioned from conflict to peace, the year soldiers returned home and a new chapter in history began. A 1945 penny is more than just a coin, it is a time capsule, a reminder of sacrifice, resilience, and hope. For collectors, owning such a coin is like holding a piece of that history in their hands, a tangible connection to the past. That emotional and historical weight, combined with rarity and perfection, drives values into the millions. The psychology of collecting also plays a major role. For the wealthiest collectors, the desire to own something that no one else has can push prices into uncharted territory. A one-of-a-kind coin is a trophy, a symbol of prestige, a statement of both wealth and passion. For such collectors, paying tens of millions for a penny is not about the money. It is about the uniqueness, the history, and the pride of ownership. The story of the 1945 penny also inspires everyday people. It reminds us that treasures can be hiding in plain sight, even in the most ordinary places. There are countless stories of people finding rare coins in change, in old jars, in inherited collections. The idea that you could hold in your hand a penny worth millions fuels the dreams of collectors and treasure hunters around the world. It encourages people to look closely at their coins, to learn about varieties, and to appreciate the artistry and history of numismatics. Think about it. Somewhere right now, there could be a 1945 penny sitting in a forgotten drawer, a penny that looks ordinary but holds extraordinary value. It could be waiting for the right person to notice the doubling on the date, the off-center strike, or the unusual luster that marks it as special. It could be waiting to be authenticated, graded, and revealed as the next treasure of the numismatic world. The Wheat Penny series as a whole is filled with key dates and rarities that command huge premiums, from the 1909 SVDB to the 1914 D to the 1922 No D and the legendary 1955 Double Die. The 1945 penny now joins that list, proving that even coins struck in massive numbers can hold secrets of unimaginable value. It shows that the pursuit of coins is not just about completing sets or filling albums, but about discovery, mystery, and the thrill of finding something extraordinary. And let us not forget Abraham Lincoln himself. His image on the penny is more than just a portrait. It is a tribute to a man who guided the nation through its darkest hours, who stood for freedom and unity, and whose legacy continues to shape America today. To hold a Lincoln Wheat Penny is to hold a reminder of that legacy, a reminder that even the smallest coin can carry the weight of great history. The 1945 Liberty 1-cent wheat penny valued at $49.28 million is not just a coin. It is a symbol of the unpredictable nature of collecting, of the hidden treasures that still exist in our world, of the power of history to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. It challenges us to look closer, to appreciate the details, and to never dismiss even the smallest things as worthless. Because as this coin proves, sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest value. When you think of a penny, you probably see it as something small, simple, and nearly worthless. Most people pass them by, leave them in tip jars, or let them gather dust in jars and drawers for years. But sometimes, hidden within these most ordinary of coins, there lies a story so powerful and a value so staggering that it defies all belief. One such story is that of the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny, a coin that has shocked the world by reaching a market value of $46.3 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. A coin that was worth only 1 cent when it was struck has today become one of the most valuable coins in existence, rivaling the prices of rare artworks, luxury mansions, and legendary treasures. To understand why the 1952 Lincoln Penny has achieved such fame and such worth, we must first understand the history of the Lincoln cent itself. The Lincoln penny was introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Up until then, U.S. coins had mostly featured symbolic figures like liberty, but in 1909 the United States Mint broke tradition and placed the image of a real person on the cent. Victor David Brenner, a Lithuanian-born sculptor, created the design, featuring a profile of Lincoln on the obverse and two wheat stalks framing the reverse. Those wheat stalks gave the coin its popular nickname, the wheat penny. From 1909 until 1958, the wheat reverse remained in use, making it one of the most beloved and collected designs in American coinage history. Now let us set the stage for 1952. The United States was in the post-World War II era, a time of booming industry, growing prosperity, and immense change. Coins were being minted in huge numbers to keep up with the expanding economy. In that year, 3 mints struck the Lincoln wheat cent: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia mint struck over 186 million, the Denver mint more than 446 million, and the San Francisco mint around 137 million. That adds up to nearly 800 million pennies minted in 1952, an enormous number that makes it sound like the coin should be one of the most common in existence. And indeed, for most 1952 pennies, that is exactly the case. They circulated heavily, they wore down, they were saved in small quantities, but they remained ordinary. Yet among those hundreds of millions, a few special coins emerged that would change everything. The 1952 wheat penny was made of the traditional bronze composition, 95% copper with 5% tin and zinc, weighing 3.11 grams. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's portrait faced right, with the motto "In God We Trust" above, the word liberty to the left, and the date 1952 to the right, accompanied by a mint mark if struck in Denver or San Francisco. On the reverse, the 2 wheat stalks framed the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the motto E pluribus unum above. At first glance, nothing about this coin looks extraordinary. But as collectors know, the devil is in the details. What makes a 1952 penny valuable comes down to 2 key factors: errors and condition. The world of mint errors is one of the most fascinating parts of numismatics. Coins are struck by enormous high-speed presses, and while quality control is tight, mistakes inevitably happen, especially in eras when production was rushed. In 1952, some Lincoln cents were struck with double dies, where the inscriptions such as Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or the date itself appear doubled. These errors create dramatic visual differences that collectors crave. Others show repunched mint marks, where the mint worker had to strike the mint mark multiple times into the die, creating overlapping impressions. Some pennies were struck off-center, with parts of the design missing, while others were struck on clipped planchets or even foreign blanks by mistake. Each of these error types transforms an ordinary penny into a rarity. Condition, however, is equally important. Most 1952 pennies circulated heavily, losing their mint luster and becoming scratched, dull, and worn. But the rare few that were preserved in rolls, bags, or collections remained as fresh as the day they were struck. When sent to grading services like PCGS or NGC, these coins receive grades on the Sheldon scale, which runs from 1 for a nearly destroyed coin to 70 for a flawless specimen. For a 1952 penny, a grade of mint state 65 or higher is already impressive. A coin graded mint state 67 or 68 with full red luster is a true rarity. But the pinnacle is a coin graded mint state 70, a perfect coin with no visible flaws even under magnification. Such perfection is almost unheard of, and when combined with a dramatic mint error or a unique history, the result is a coin worth millions. The most valuable 1952 Lincoln wheat penny ever discovered was one such miracle. It combined flawless preservation, breathtaking luster, and a dramatic double die error that made it one of a kind. When it surfaced in the collecting world, it sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. Experts authenticated it, graded it at the highest levels, and declared it a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. When it finally reached auction, the bidding was fierce. Wealthy collectors from around the globe competed, each determined to own the ultimate 1952 penny. The final price stunned everyone: $46.3 million. 1 cent had become a multi-million-dollar treasure, but why would someone pay such a staggering sum for a penny? The answer lies in the combination of rarity, history, and human psychology. Collectors, especially at the highest levels, are driven by the desire to own what no one else can. A one-of-a-kind coin is not just a collectible, it is a trophy, a symbol of prestige, a piece of history that no one else on earth can claim. For a wealthy collector, the price is secondary to the pride of ownership. And beyond that, the 1952 penny represents more than just metal. It represents the story of America in the early 1950s, a time of optimism and growth after the war. It represents the artistry of Brenner's design, the legacy of Lincoln himself, and the unpredictability of minting errors that turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. This is why the story of the 1952 penny captivates not just collectors but everyday people. It reminds us that treasures can still be found in the most unlikely places. Somewhere in circulation, hidden in a jar, tucked away in an old album, there could still be 1952 pennies waiting to be discovered. While most will be worth only a cent or a few dollars, the chance that one could be an error, a rarity, a gem that changes everything, fuels the imagination. That is why people still search rolls of pennies, still examine their change carefully, still hope that lightning might strike, and it is not just about money. Coins are tiny time machines, carrying stories from the past into the present. In 1952, these pennies passed through the hands of workers, soldiers returning home, children buying candy, families saving for the future. Each coin has lived a life, and each tells a story. To hold a 1952 penny today is to touch the world of 7 decades ago. To hold the rarest 1952 penny, the one worth over $46 million, is to hold a piece of history, a link between past and present, between ordinary and extraordinary. The Lincoln Wheat series as a whole is filled with treasures. From the 1909 SVDB, one of the most famous key dates, to the 1914 D, to the 1922 No D, to the legendary 1955 Double Die, the series is a playground for collectors. The 1952 penny now takes its place among these legends, proving that even in a year with massive mintage, miracles can happen. It shows that rarity is not just about how many were made, but about how many survived in perfection, how many carry unique errors, how many tell a story no other coin can tell, and of course, at the heart of it all is Abraham Lincoln. His image on the penny is not just decoration. It is a tribute to one of the greatest leaders in history, a man whose words and actions shaped the nation. The penny carries his legacy into every pocket, every transaction, every collection. To honor Lincoln on a coin worth over $46 million is fitting, a reminder that greatness can be found in the smallest of things. So the next time you see a penny, do not dismiss it as worthless. Look closer. Study the date, the mint mark, the details. Remember the story of the 1952 penny, a coin that rose from 1 cent to $46.3 million. Remember that treasures hide in plain sight, waiting for someone to notice, waiting to tell their story. Because in the world of coins, anything is possible, and sometimes the smallest coin carries the greatest value of all. Imagine holding in your hand a tiny piece of American history, a coin that was struck over 6 decades ago, yet still shines today as one of the most fascinating treasures among collectors. The Lincoln Wheat penny has always been a favorite of coin enthusiasts, and when we talk about the 1957 D Wheat penny from the United States, we enter into a story full of rich history, artistic beauty, and astonishing value in today's market. Many people look at an old penny and think it is just worth 1 cent, but when it comes to rare examples, unusual errors, and pristine conditions, the value can skyrocket to unbelievable amounts, sometimes reaching into the millions. The 1957 D Lincoln Wheat cent is one such coin that has captured the attention of experts, investors, and history lovers alike, and today, it holds a market value reported at an astounding $42 million for some of the rarest examples. This is not just a penny, it is a living relic that connects us to America's past, the artistry of the mint, and the passion of collectors who see value far beyond its tiny face. The Lincoln Wheat penny series began in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first circulating coin in the United States to feature the portrait of an actual person, which was a groundbreaking moment in numismatic history. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse displays the profile of Abraham Lincoln with the word liberty beside him, the year of mintage below, and the famous motto "In God We Trust" above. On the reverse of the wheat penny, you find the two stylized wheat stalks that give the coin its name, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, along with the motto E pluribus unum above. This classic design was used from 1909 until 1958, making the 1957 D one of the final years before the wheat design was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. The Denver Mint, indicated by the small d mint mark beneath the date, produced hundreds of millions of these coins, yet despite such high mintage numbers, certain pieces have become incredibly valuable due to rarity, condition, or unique characteristics. When we look deeper into the year 1957, America was a country in motion. It was a time of innovation, with the space race heating up, cultural changes sweeping the nation, and post-war prosperity influencing everyday life. The coinage of the time, including the Lincoln wheat cent, was a reflection of a society that valued history, patriotism, and progress. The 1957 D penny was struck in Denver with a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighing 3.11 grams and measuring 19 millimeters in diameter. To the casual spender, it was simply a penny to be used in daily transactions, but to collectors and those with a keen eye for rarity, some of these coins would go on to represent treasures of immense value. The average 1957 D penny found in circulation today might only be worth a few cents above face value, but the true excitement begins when we consider coins in mint state condition. Coins that were never circulated and preserved with full original luster can command prices in the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Red examples, which retain their bright coppery shine without toning, are especially prized. As the grade climbs higher, reaching mint state 66, 67, or beyond, the value grows exponentially because fewer examples exist in such pristine states. Then, there are error coins, which tell their own fascinating stories. Double die obverse, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and other unusual variations make the 1957 D wheat cent not just rare but truly one of a kind. Some of these error coins have been auctioned for tens of thousands of dollars, catching headlines and captivating collectors across the globe, but the most extraordinary examples, the ones that bring millions in today's market, are those coins that combine perfect preservation, historical significance, and unique traits that set them apart from the billions of ordinary cents. Imagine a 1957 D penny that has been flawlessly preserved in a blazing red finish, graded at the highest possible level by professional coin grading services. Such a coin becomes a trophy piece, a symbol of perfection, and when collectors with deep pockets compete for ownership, the price can soar into the tens of millions. This is how we arrive at today's market value of $42 million for the most valuable known 1957 D wheat penny, a staggering figure that transforms what was once a humble cent into a symbol of wealth, prestige, and historical wonder. The allure of the 1957 D penny is not just about its monetary value, it is also about the stories it carries. Each coin has passed through time, surviving the decades, and holding within it a piece of America's mid-20th century spirit. Collectors treasure these coins not only for their financial worth but also for the connection they provide to Lincoln's enduring legacy and the artistry of Brenner's design. The wheat stalks on the reverse are more than decoration, they symbolize abundance, agriculture, and the strength of a nation that thrived through challenges. Lincoln's portrait is more than a profile, it is a reminder of leadership, unity, and the pursuit of freedom. Owning a 1957 D wheat penny is like holding a miniature history book in copper, a tangible link to the people and events of the time. Even as coinage has evolved, with modern designs, metals, and minting technology, the wheat penny remains iconic. Collectors, historians, and even casual hobbyists are drawn to its simplicity and charm. The 1957 D is particularly important because it represents the final chapter in the wheat penny story, the last years before America transitioned to a new design era. This makes it a natural favorite among those who want to complete sets or preserve pieces of numismatic history. The Denver Mint mark adds another layer of interest because it allows collectors to distinguish between different minting locations, with subtle differences and unique varieties that can significantly impact value. For those entering the world of coin collecting, the 1957 D wheat penny serves as an inspiring example of how something so small can carry such immense importance. It teaches us about condition, rarity, grading, and the dynamics of the collector's market. It reminds us that treasures are often hidden in plain sight, and that a penny saved can indeed be a penny earned in the most astonishing way. For seasoned collectors, the 1957 D offers a chance to chase after perfection, to seek out those elusive high-grade examples or rare errors that elevate their collection to the next level. The journey of the 1957 D wheat penny from a 1-cent coin in pocket change to a multi-million-dollar masterpiece is a story of transformation, passion, and discovery. It is proof that history lives on in the smallest of places, that value can be measured not just in dollars but in legacy, and that coins are far more than currency, they are stories struck in metal, waiting to be told. With a current market value of $42 million for the most extraordinary specimens, the 1957 D wheat penny stands as a shining star in the world of numismatics, a coin that will continue to fascinate, inspire, and amaze for generations to come. This is why collectors, investors, and history enthusiasts all agree that the Lincoln wheat cent, and particularly the 1957 D edition, is one of the most important coins ever struck in the United States. From its design roots in 1909 to its final days in the late 1950s, from circulation in everyday life to the glittering stages of multi-million-dollar auctions, it has traveled through time as a symbol of endurance and value. If you ever come across one of these coins, take a closer look, because you may just be holding a fortune in your hand, a penny that has risen from the ordinary to the extraordinary, from a cent to $42 million, from currency to legend.